guys' podcast is awesome.
Oh, thanks.
Do you want a sticker?
Yeah, absolutely.
Welcome to Court Captains, a volleyball podcast.
Where we talk all things Pro Volleyball Federation.
I'm Kelly.
I'm Nikki.
I'm Ian.
And today we're talking Johnny Taylor's our biggest fan.
Oh my goodness.
And confirmed she has a court captain sticker.
She has a court
Confirmed.
captain sticker. She follows the Instagram. She says we're awesome.
She's buttering up the coverage.
She don't even need to. We love her.
I didn't even tell her like, hey, only one of us picked you to make the play. Only one of us believed in you guys with no experience.
All right.
You know, Ian,
Obviously,
I can't even remember what I said.
Oh,
okay?
well, I can remember. I'll cut the clip.
Okay. Well, guess who's not editing this week? Interesting.
Empty threats.
Yeah. That's
Okay,
pretty
well,
sweet,
I guess we're going to talk about the game that we went to.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the playoff picture, what occurred this week. But first, a little bit of news. I, Nikki, will be attending the PVF playoffs.
Whoop, whoop.
What?
It's official.
She's holding down the pod.
Will be, when I say we, it'll be me and our producer.
Our roaming correspondent.
Our producer
Our producer / roaming correspondent.
that y'all have never heard of, but she's
But
a
her
dear,
name's
dear friend.
Katie. Her name's Katie, and she'll be with me. So if you see me with Katie, don't think that she's Kelly.
Well, how many days are you there for, right? So it's 3 days of games.
Yeah, it's 2 days of games because
2
both
days.
semifinals are on Friday, and so I'll be everything's booked. I just want you to know.
Cool.
Wow.
Flights are booked, hotels booked. So I'll be
Confirmed.
landing. Can't give specific times out to the public, but I'll be landing on Friday.
Someone's gonna
And
wait at your
then-
gate.
Yeah, that
Casino.
would be horrifying. Casino, buffet. No. For the matches on Friday, which are I'm in Pacific brain at 5 and 7:30. So both semifinals happen then, and then Saturday is an off day. Finals are on Sunday, May 11th, aka Mother's Day, at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
And all of these will be on CBS Sports Network.
The real question, though, is what are you doing Saturday?
Yeah, that's a great question. So,
Sphere?
open
Seen a
to
show of the
seeing-
Sphere?
Magic
no, we
Mike
looked that
XXL.
up. I don't think there was availability on either of those things.
That's a good
Oh.
No,
Sphere.
I'm just kidding. Sphere was, I think, Dead and Company was playing at the Sphere.
Oh, that's pretty. That's pretty. If you could get some acid.
The last time I went to Vegas,
Uh-huh.
I did two things that I actually would recommend. One, I went to a Cirque du Soleil show, New York, New York.
Love that. Yep. Uh-huh.
I think it was called The Big Apple was the show, but it was in New York,
Okay.
New York.
Okay.
It was great. I'd never been to a Cirque du Soleil show, but it was fun. And the other thing is the Meow Wolf
Oh, really?
situation. You could get lost in there for hours.
Yeah. I went to Meow Wolf Denver at one point in my
Yeah.
life.
This is the one that's like the supermarket. I don't know if you've ever seen those
No.
TikToks.
Now I'm gonna
I'll-
though.
What?
Now I'm gonna though, because my
Yeah.
phone is here listening
Here,
to me.
listen, yeah. Now related to this, I would like to know what is your game of choice in the casino? What are you out here doing?
I'm a blackjack girl
Nice.
Oh,
because you just play to the book and then you yell at older gentlemen who don't play to the book,
Yeah, who are fucking
Implying-
up the table.
implying that they're bad at basic mathematics.
I wish I could go with you.
And they really like it when you do that.
Yeah, they love that.
So that's like kind of what they're hoping for.
And what drink do you order when you're at the blackjack table?
Oh, that's interesting. I've only ever been extremely unhappy while drinking
Sure.
Mhm.
at the blackjack table. I think I've done white wine.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then
And
I'll
it's good to
also
keep
do
your
a
head
video
about you,
poker.
you know.
I'll do video poker as well.
Oh, a poker.
Video poker, the
Poker? I
on the little
barely
bloop
know
bloop bloop.
her.
Oh, that's a
Title
good
of
one.
ep. Um,
But you know, can't interact with people because I don't know all of the rules like that.
yeah, yeah.
I only play it on the little boop boop.
Yeah. No, my dad goes into the rooms to
Oh,
play
Yeah.
poker.
the
The
high
the
roller
smoky
rooms?
back
Oh,
Not like the
rooms.
high roller, but like
no.
when
Like
they
to
like,
play with people.
yeah,
I'm scared of that.
that's overwhelming.
Right.
Ian, what
Totally.
are your biggest games of choice?
Definitely blackjack. We like just some chance, right? We like maybe a slot, maybe some roulette wheel. And then we
Yeah.
like Long Island iced teas
Oh, that's a
because that
great
really
call.
helps
Oh
I
yeah,
should
with
do
those are
losing
that.
fun.
money.
Yeah.
But that's
That's
what
a
I'm saying
really
is
good
like what we
call.
need on Saturday is some like investigative pool club reporting
I
Well, so
think
what's
you should
interesting
definitely
see
bring the
who
is
you're
microphones
catching
and
at
get some
that.
like some like
some ding 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 ding
And
ding.
be
yeah.
like, I don't know yet, but from across the pool, I see a woman who is 6'4", and I'm thinking that's probably a volleyball player.
Honestly, though, like I wouldn't be surprised if the players were staying where we were staying. And that's just based on like proximity. Like I
Yeah.
don't think that the players are staying on the strip when they
Yeah.
come to Henderson, Nevada to play. I would not be surprised
And you are
if
not
a
either.
lot of people, no, we decided not to. But then I'm like trying to figure out fan meetup
Oh,
Saturday in the day.
Ooh.
I
that
don't
could
know
be
where
fun.
it would be. I don't know what to do. If any of y'all listeners have any ideas, let me know. But, you know, TBD on that.
Fun.
And then Sunday, game at 1, we fly out Monday.
Well, we wish we could go.
That's okay, guys. I'll miss you so much. We might be recording as well
Yeah.
while I'm over there. So, you know, listeners keep an eye out for a little mid playoff update. But yeah, hoping to just watch some good volleyball, do some good interviews, meet some more players, finally ask Amy Pauley my, you know, one burning question that I have for her about, you know, if she was playing today, what sort of outfit would she opt for? Which uniform?
Yeah.
Because,
know,
you know,
the
there's so much variety these days.
the sleeves, you know, the
Sleeveless.
separate
Oh,
sleeves.
the sleeveless jersey
Like the
with the sleeves
compression
that go over
sleeve.
your.
Like it that is such a new style.
It really is.
And what kind of blows my mind is that like that's not present in any other sport.
Well, a lot of leg sleeves and arm sleeves in basketball.
Yeah, a lot of single arm sleeves
Yeah, but
in
it's like that's like a
basketball.
compression thing, right?
Yeah, yeah. Which
Yes.
I guess,
This
like,
is,
I
I
don't know.
guess,
We've talked
more
about it before. Like, if you're a setter, but then would you want something on your arms
for
for
Yeah.
setting?
digging. I think for
Yeah.
digging
Yeah,
is
and
the
passing.
idea and
So,
passing.
um, I recently had these items, the sleeves.
Oh, did you play with them?
Yes.
I'm
Um,
excited to hear how it went.
Yeah, how's the
and
technology?
and I was like, this is stupid. What am I doing? I'd rather just like have sleeves. And then I was like, oh, this is kind of nice.
So what was nice
Because
about it?
because all right, when I'm wearing like a long sleeve jersey,
Hmm.
what happens is that the sleeve that's attached to your arm, the sleeve,
Yep, yes.
and like the where it connects to your shoulder, I tend to like want to bunch it up because I need the movement,
Hmm.
right? I need as much fabric in basically in my armpit so that like I don't feel constricted.
Hmm.
Okay. And so what this does is it removes that fabric
Sure.
completely. And so
Hmm.
then I find myself I don't need to pull my sleeves
spend
up,
time adjusting. Yeah.
I can leave them down. So then I'm actually using the sleeves to pass a
Mm,
volleyball. And the sleeves are there to wipe my sweat.
sure. Do you have to
Um,
pull the free sleeves up a lot
no,
at the bicep
no,
area?
but I got some, not to brag
Oh,
about my muscles.
she lifts
Boom.
weights.
I'm pretty strong.
No, I was just curious. I'm sure there's a whole like sizing situation.
Yeah, there's a sizing situation and it's like a good grip
Okay. All right.
to the point where
That's
it's like a
interesting.
little actually self-conscious. You're like, "Oh, I don't want to, I don't know." It's like you can just it's, I'm like spilling over the arm sleeve.
It's a little muffin top.
Yeah,
Yeah,
muffin
but on
top
my arms.
on the arm.
And I just have to remind myself like, "No, you're strong."
No, that's not what it is. All right, great. That's good
Um,
information to
Yeah.
have.
yeah.
And then are you a legging player as well, Kelly?
Yeah. I haven't worn spandex
Yeah.
in so long.
Yeah.
Although I w it was a it looked to me, when we went to the game on Friday, that the
hmm
spandex looked longer
Yeah, longer
than
inseams.
yeah, than like what we were wearing and tech and like the only spandex I have now are still my spandex from college.
Yeah, I always used to ask, I always used to be given, this actually mattered very much to me in high school and college. We used to be given 2 or 3 inch inseam. I would go buy 4 or 5.
Oh, wow.
And as
Okay.
long as it was the same color, I was
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Usually, I would go buy it because 2, 3. I'm not on the beach.
Yeah.
I don't need it to be that short.
Like my ass doesn't need to be hanging out. And like
Correct.
I would find like in college I would like we'd be watching tape and I'm in the middle of a play
Picking.
picking it out of my butt.
That's
Classic. This
adjusting.
just
Adjusting.
doesn't seem
Constant. It was
conducive.
constant. I think I used to do it before every play, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Which is like
Annoying. Guess what I never do when I'm wearing long leggings?
yeah.
Adjust them. They're fine. They're right where they need to be.
Yeah. That's
Ian, what do you think? No.
Ian.
We've talked about this early in the year. I mean, I want women to be comfortable.
Oh,
Personally,
There
wow.
it
I don't
is.
look at that type of thing
Ally.
when I'm watching volleyball. Not like you guys. I'm not judging the women's bodies or what they're
I
wearing
do think
because
you
I
made
don't
this
see people
exact
like that.
joke. I
Yeah.
think
I,
you made
I
this
don't,
exact
I
joke.
don't
Now
see
it's
people
coming
like
back
that.
to me.
But
Yeah.
I just want you to be happy. If you want to wear pajamas out there playing volleyball, that's
All right,
cool
Ian.
too.
No,
Put the
that's enough.
flannels on.
But here's the thing, when we saw that match in person this week, I think Brittany Abercrombie was the only leggings gal.
Yeah. And I
I think
think part of
everyone
that
else
has
went
to
spandex.
do with Indy is so young.
Mm.
And I don't know what the older players, why aren't they wearing leggings? Because I don't
Well,
know.
because
To me,
they're
it's like an
sick of
older
it
thing.
too.
I also just think like
They're
it looks
they're
cool.
sick and tired. Yeah, probably.
Like
They haven't
people,
learned that
like
they can be
NBA players
comfortable
always
too.
wear compression stuff, and I'm always like, I'm
Mm.
sure it does a lot, but it also like it looks kind of cool
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
have like a leg
they haven't
sleeve.
learned yet.
I will say in college, I had to wear like um, shin sleeves,
Freaking
calf
splints.
sleeves. So I was like, I should have just been wearing leggings. Well, half 70, 80% of my legs were covered at this point.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
It just seems
I'm
like a
not a
weird
knee
line
sock
to
girl though.
draw from a rules standpoint.
Right.
Like there was that time in the NBA when like, Michael Jordan brought in long shorts.
Yeah.
They get short every once in a while and they get long again. But it just seems like a weird thing to be in the rule book.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, well, they love to govern women's
Like it
bodies,
has
so.
to be up your butt or else it's illegal.
Okay, well, should I look at some transactions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell us everything. What
There was some
happened?
shuffling going on this
Yeah.
weekend, Friday and Sunday. So we saw Charity Looper go to the practice squad in exchange for Grace Loberg. I think Charity Looper, we heard that was an injury situation, maybe an ankle.
It's interesting now.
Um,
They're just like practice squad. Like don't even qualify it as an injury. It's not like in
right.
other professional sports where they have to like announce what the injury is
Yeah, no, they don't want to do
in
that.
vague terms.
I think that somebody that we know talked to either a coach or a GM and was just like, why can't we get more updates about that? And they did say like the players have articulated that they don't want so much information about their injuries out there, which I think is they're more taking from a privacy tack than like a
Mm,
obviously, there's a net between y'all. So it doesn't matter if the opponents know what your
yeah.
injury is. But I do think it's like maybe there's just this feeling of like, that's kind of creepy. Why do you know exactly what my injury is? Which is fair. But the thing is, when it's practice squad versus injured reserve, then that makes us question things, If it just said
Yeah.
injured reserve, we'd be like, she's injured. Hopefully she's okay. But there's also an interest in like, is this an ACL or is it a twisted
How long is
ankle?
it
Like
gonna
we kind of want to
be?
know how
Yeah, like,
long it'll be.
yeah. Well,
So
I feel
that's the
like, I mean,
reason.
ACL, that's not short term.
No, sure.
But
That's
how
Yeah.
can
season
we
ending.
properly gamble on these matches
How
if we don't know
Yeah.
who's there
can
and how long
we
they're going to be gone?
we need to curb our expectations. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's a little bit of context there. But Mojo did Mojo things. They shuffled some people. I can't keep up, so I'm not even going to talk about those. She'll do it. She'll switch it up again in 2 days. Um, the Omaha did a little like flipping of Lindsay Krause and Valeria Vasquez Gomez, two rookies. I, I think Gomez got in a little bit last week. On the 24th, she switched him back. So Krause's back to active roster. Um, we saw Isabel Martin added to practice squad and Nina Chaich back to active on the 24th. And then she went and had a day. What else? Columbus, we saw Raina Terry on the short-term injured reserve. That was a hand or a wrist injury, it looked like, from the prior game. So Ashley Wentz went to active. And then on the 26th, Isabel Martin back to active, Lydia Martin to practice squad. Now we know that's confusing. Isabel Martin, Martin, outside hitter, rookie. She's from Germany. Lydia Martin, middle blocker with the Q collar, also a rookie. She moved to practice squad. We also heard that that was based on an injury. Now, our sources stated it was a back injury. I know I just said maybe the players want privacy, but if our sources are going to tell us, then our sources are going to tell us. But then what? In the press conference, ankle was said?
The coach said ankle, but like I could see the coach being like,
What was it?
an ankle.
An ankle?
All
And
he
then-
heard was how long is she out?
Yeah, exactly.
And then
Couple
he
days,
filled in,
everything's
and
fine.
then he filled in the blanks.
That's right. That's right. So he cares about what we care about. And then Valks did some. Lydia Grote went back to active. Kara Thompson, a recent signing, I believe, to practice squad. So I think we'll see for the remainder of the season some little flippity flips like this.
Yep.
Now, nothing fun.
No.
No fun
fun.
little trades.
We're done with fun.
That's not
We'll
allowed
We're
anymore.
in a post-fun
They've outlawed
Era.
fun.
world.
And so that's it in the transactions land. I did ask Amy, I thought, a pretty interesting question about this.
Okay, Amy, how are you thinking about your lineup decisions for these last few matches, knowing that you're good to go? Is there a different approach at all?
Yeah. I mean, obviously we got Nora in and started her tonight because we're looking for a little bit more production on the left pin there than we've had. I would love to say that we will rotate people. We will rotate people in and out a lot. You saw Mel get playing time because I think that's a key to success for winning a championship. Having her size in there is going to be crucial to slowing other teams' offense down. But we're also really competitive, and we do want to win, and we want to feel confident and have momentum going into the playoffs. So I think we'll keep seeing like glimpses of people. MK's blocking tonight. Like that's something that as a staff we've been behind the scenes talking about for a while. How can we get her a pass through the front row? Because she's almost like a certified block every time she goes in. And so how can we just manipulate our roster and our lineup the best possible? And so I think that's what you'll see over the next 4 matches is getting those opportunities in. Lydia hopefully will be healthy by Sunday. She's still kind of nursing that ankle injury. We'd love to go dub sub also to give Britt some break back there, but at one point tonight I said, Britt, I'm going to back row sub for you. And she goes, I'd like to win. And I said, okay, then we won't. But that just kind of speaks to this group. Like, they're really competitive and they don't want to take any matches off.
Right now, especially going into the last week of the season, like, what's happening. Playoffs are clinched. You're making it or not. I think there are a couple teams that still stand to like solidify their spots in the overall rankings, but I would really appreciate getting to see some different players, especially from the bottom 4 teams,
Yeah.
in an effort to get people some time.
I mean, especially at this point, right? Like things are set.
Yeah, but the playoff teams maybe need to keep their vibe going. Sorry to say vibe, but maybe they need to keep their like relationships between each other in a good way. But certainly the bottom 4, I would hope that people are going to get shuffled in there. We'll see.
We will
okay.
see.
Is it time for the scorner?
Yeah. Yeah, and then we can talk about our experiences at the game after when we're talking about the games, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
All right. Scorner.
Ian Scorner.
Friday, April 25th, the pod descended on the crossroads of America, which is the motto for the city of Indianapolis, if you didn't know. And we saw Orlando beat the Ignite in 4 sets. I believe if you weren't at the game, it was on the Roku channel. We saw the Roku TV crew there. Indy lost this game, and they fell for the 5th consecutive time. They won the first set 25-22, and then Orlando won the second 25-16, the third 26-24, and closed it out 28-26. Like I said, 5th consecutive loss for Indy. Final 2 sets were really close. Valkyries just that much better in the end. They hit 246 to the Ignite's 171, led by Norris Sis, who had 17 kills at 250. Kaz Brown hit 529 with 10 kills and 2 blocks. On the other side, still really good game from Johnny Taylor, who had 21 kills at 349 with 4 blocks and an ace, but they lost on the day. All right, also going on, same night, Columbus Fury at the Omaha Supernovas on YouTube. The Fury made it pretty hard on Omaha, but in the end, the Supernovas won in 5 to keep one hand on that top seed. Both teams played really well. It was the Fury that won the first set 25-21, and then Omaha 25-20, 26-24. Fury won the 4th set 25-23, and then Omaha closed the door 15-9 in the 5th set. They hit 292 to the Fury's 230, led by the traditional 18 kills over 300 from Brooke, but really had an incredible day all the way down the stat sheet. Toyosi had 7 kills at 462, and Phoebe Awalaya added another 9 kills at 467. So a pretty good hitting day. Columbus honestly been pretty impressive down the stretch, and they, even though they're out of the postseason, but they hung with Omaha pretty well before they lost on the day. Kaylee Cox was a standout, 16 kills at 262. All right. Also that evening, the Mojo at the Vegas Thrill on the Roku channel. Again, Vegas does it the Vegas way and wins in the reverse sweep, denting the Mojo's lowly playoff hopes at this point. They lost the first set 26-24, the second 25-23, and then won 25-18, 25-19, and 15-11 to complete the reverse sweep. Defensive battle. The Thrill hit 187 to the Mojo's 103. They had 14 blocks and 3 aces on the day. Hannah Maddox led the way, 22 kills, hit 200, had 4 blocks. And Berkeley Oblad got the most out of her chances, had 8 kills at 583. Mojo really couldn't find a groove, but were led by a good Bedargani game. She had 14 kills, 214. A couple of aces as well on the night. All right, Saturday, the 26th. Grand Rapids Rise at Atlanta Vibe on FS2. The Rise battled really hard, looking for that reverse sweep like Vegas had the night before, but fell just short to Atlanta in a really tough loss that pretty much means that their playoff hopes are over. A very even match all around. The Vibe hit 205 to the Rise's 207. But the Rise, like I said, just couldn't quite finish the reverse sweep. Vibe led by Pia Timmer, who matched a team high 14 kills while hitting 293. Corey Lewis also played really well, 13 kills, hit 478 with 2 blocks. Brutal loss for the Rise. Allison Bastianelli, you had a huge game. One player of the week this week. 20 kills, hitting 432 and 3 blocks. All right. That was the only Saturday game. Sunday, April 27th. The Mojo at the Indy Ignite on VBTV. Indy broke their 5-game losing streak and moved ever closer to that final playoff spot, beating San Diego in 4 sets, 25-22, 25-19, dropped the third 20-25, and then won the fourth 25-23. As we'll talk about later, Indy said they were ready to get to playing this game after they lost to the Valks earlier in the week, and it manifested not in like a super great offensive performance. They finished hitting 177 to the Mojo's 175, but the defense was really cooking. The passing a lot better than San Diego on the night, and they had 19 blocks by the end of the day. The Mojo really keyed in on Johnny Taylor defensively, but she was picked up by a great performance, specifically from Anna DeBeer, who had 17 kills at 256 with 2 blocks. Again, the Mojo got a good game from Bedargani, who finished with 12 kills at 526 with an ace and 2 blocks on the losing side as well. All right, Vegas at Omaha on YouTube, same day. Vegas doing their thing through the first 2 sets. They're being wily. They're letting the other team win the first 2 sets with an eye towards then coming back and winning the final 3 sets after luring the team into a false sense of security. But this time they lost those first 2 sets, and then they just lost the next set, and they got swept by Omaha. So it didn't quite work to plan. Omaha hit 276 to Vegas's 108. Allie Battenhorst led the team with 10 kills at 667, along with 2 blocks, and Lane Van Buskirk was a standout on the other side for Vegas, hitting 444 with 5 kills and 3 blocks, but they never really were in the game with Omaha that day. All right, last game of the week, Columbus Fury at Orlando Valkyries on CBS Sports. Fury came out swinging again, but fell to Orlando, who is looking really good these last couple of weeks going into the playoffs. They kicked it into the gear after dropping the first set 22-25. They won 29-27, then 25-22 and 25-18 to finish off the day. They hit 315 on the match to the Fury's 202. Really good. Good games all down the stat sheet, but Brittany Abercrombie had 22 kills and a block at 365, and Lindsay Vanderweide had 20 kills and a block at 311, so pretty good. On the other side, Izzy played really well again, 14 kills at 265, and Jill Gillen came in right at the end of the game, the last couple sets, finished with 10 kills at 273, but they dropped the game to Orlando on the day, and that was the week.
Hmm.
Woo.
I felt like I needed to respond with huh, because that's what you do to me.
Yeah. Thoughtful.
Huh.
Oh,
Not your typical wow.
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 Owen Wilson.
Okay, so seeing
So.
Orlando and Indy in the flesh,
Yeah, first game of the week.
what were your big, like, in-person revelations?
Grimace was there, which was definitely number one. The McDonald's mascot, Grimace, was there dancing with the Indy Ignite mascot, which is like a weirdly, like, are we allowed to say thick on the podcast? Like a weirdly thick volleyball who's like hot.
You know what I just realized? Because you said that there was some promo going on with McDonald's?
I assume. I don't know. I mean, Grimace was there.
Because I do know in Indianapolis, like, because they had the Riley's Children's Hospital was like one of the sponsor, or like not sponsors, but they were like the charity. And there's a Ronald McDonald House by Riley's. And so I'm wondering if that was the connection.
That's why Grimace was there to hang.
And they were like, no, we don't want Ronald.
Yeah,
Give us Grimace.
Kelly with her local knowledge from living in Indy.
Yep. Actually, literally that house was like
she knows where stuff's located.
down the street from my freshman year.
But that was the biggest.
Yeah.
Was like, they really got it. You know, Nikki was very struck by the flame cannons during the introductions.
Yep, there were flame.
During
there were flames.
also the
There was
national
live fire.
anthem.
It
During
was
the bombs bursting in air part, they just blow off the flame cannons, which I guess like I get the vibe, but it seems like we should be slightly more solemn. with the anthem and blowing off fucking
that was
pyrotechnics. But whatever, it's chill. It's America.
That was pretty shocking.
It's America. That's what we do.
Yeah.
You
You're
know, it was
right.
like a sweet
Yeah.
WWE promo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of the, you know, it was loud in there, especially at the end of those last two sets that were
Yeah.
both extra point sets. There was a lot of chanting, a lot of cheering, even though they ended up on the losing side. It was fun.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was
Yeah, it was pretty well attended.
yeah. And what a great facility. I think I said that
Yeah.
at least 10 times while we were there.
Really beautiful facility. And
Yeah.
4,429 people there.
Nice.
Yeah,
And
that's
what
a
it
good-
fits like max like 7-ish maybe.
And
a
I
little
think
less.
so, yeah. 775.
And it's like weirdly in the middle of nowhere.
Well, that was if we're
Yeah.
going to compare it to the Grand Rapids thing. It was like
Yeah.
the arenas in my mind were very similar,
Mm-hmm.
but in Grand Rapids they built the town first and then put the arena in it. And in Fishers they've built the arena first, and it seems that they are now building more town around it.
Yeah, plus the IKEA.
Yeah,
There's
it
an
was, you had
IKEA
to go
there.
down IKEA way.
Mm-hmm.
I do know
to get to
yeah.
Fishers.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit different, but beautiful. Beautiful.
Very nice
Beautiful.
building.
And they have this very high tech for a
Very.
sport.
Yeah, they
place.
had like freaking food scanners where you don't have to
Oh,
talk to a cashier. You
yeah.
just put your food under like a freaking
A camera.
digital scanner that charges you for whatever you put under it.
It identifies. It's like in Silicon Valley when that guy made the hot dog identifying software.
Yeah.
Like it literally identifies hot dogs and
Yeah.
pizza
Yeah,
and
and chicken
popcorn
fingers.
and drinks. Yeah. That's what that software
crazy.
does.
It's crazy stuff.
So congratulations to them.
We also sat right on the floor at the beginning. That was fun. Until the people who
We have for
the
warm-ups.
seats actually belonged to came to sit in the seats, and it was actually
Right.
the woman who sang the national anthem who went to Kelly's College and played volleyball there.
Yep. That was
So
fun.
it was just like 3
Small
degrees.
world.
Yeah. Everything in
Yeah.
volleyball is 3 degrees from Kelly somehow. Even the national anthem singers at the games.
I mean, shout out to
What
the
about the volleyball?
No.
Oh, real quick though, shout out
who are
to
you
the
shouting
Indie
Comms team.
comms team, media relations. They're great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very kind to us.
Yes.
They treated us
Love
much better
them.
than we deserve. That's what I don't know. Like when people like they don't know if we are like associated with some larger organization that will be mad at them if they mistreat us. But it's like no, it's just us, just us three. Like Spotify's not.
It's
we can't
fine.
call HR,
It's fine if
but
they're
they're very
confused.
kind. Yeah, we'll take that. We got
That's
food.
what I always say. We
Nikki got
food.
Nikki got a smoothie.
I got a smooth, but that was
Well, that was from
Orlando's.
Orlando.
Yeah.
We were in the back afterwards at the press conference. You just like can kind of walk around where the locker rooms are and stuff. And we ran into Courtney. Shout out Courtney,
Oh, friend of the
who
pod.
was getting her dinner. And there was like an assistant coach or an ops person or something that was affiliated with Orlando. And she was like, "Do you guys want this smoothie? We had an extra smoothie." And I think they must have, because it said Emily on it. So I'm guessing I got Emily Klicka's like second smoothie. like they made two of her. So apparently she opts for Blimey Limey from the
Blimey
Smoothie
Lime
King.
smoothie.
So
Tropical
and
Smoothie Cafe. It was not Smoothie King.
it wasn't Smoothie King?
If it was
I think
Smoothie King,
Smoothie King.
if it was Smoothie King, I would have been snatching that up.
Oh, it was Tropical Smoothie?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, my bad. You're right. I'm wrong. But
Thank you.
so the woman
totally
in Orlando
different.
was like, "You want this?" And I was like, "We're good. We've been like snacking." She was like, "Here." She put it in my hand.
She kind of forced you to take it. How was it? Was
She was
it good?
like, "Take this." Yeah, it was a little bit melted. So I just like moved the straw up to get to like the frozen part in the middle, and then it was good.
And that's
but
been
we had
smoothie
been
review.
snacking.
Yeah.
I wasn't very hungry, but I did it anyway, just to have the Emily Klicka experience.
Mhm.
So
Okay,
that was
so-
really good.
All right. So now we want to talk about the game.
Yeah, Indy came out really good, and it was loud in there. They won
Yeah.
the first set. It was
Yeah.
all looking like they were they were going to get off the schneid, as we say on the podcast and have said
Right,
previously.
4-game loss streak at that point, I
Yeah.
Yeah,
believe.
but it
Yeah.
didn't happen. Orlando has been really good the last couple of weeks. They were really good that night.
They they just got it together and passed really well is the
Yeah.
kind of the consensus.
Kaz
Yeah,
Brown
I
It,
mean-
it seemed in
really,
our
really
in our
good.
post-game interview, Indy was just frustrated that they couldn't get them to make mistakes on serve receive. Which, I mean, to be honest though, looking at the stats, I'm like, you guys didn't serve that different or pass that different. The stats don't tell the whole story.
No.
It is fun being in there just to like hear the block touches more.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brittany Abercrombie has a very distinct attack sound in terms of
Oh.
the hand hitting the ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it is a slap.
Yeah.
It's a very distinct one. Not that nobody else is audibly slapping.
Yeah.
People are, but I'm always hearing that one.
Well, and
And
this was
then-
the game this week that for Orlando that Abercrombie didn't have like as crazy of a game. She was still great. She had 16 kills. She hit just under 200. And they still won in 4 sets. And then their next game in the week, she had 22 kills and hit 370, and they win that game. So they got lots of different ways to do it right now.
Yeah, well, Nora Sis, really impressing coming out. I think that she wasn't as nervous, honestly. Like we've seen her get in little. I don't know that we've seen her start, but we've seen her come in moments of need in the past, and it hasn't gone as well as it did this
Yeah.
game. I was really
I was
impressed.
really impressed with her. Yeah. Yeah, Nikki got to ask. Well, we had questions planned, just expecting to talk to the coaches, and then players showed up.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
so Nikki was asking Amy. But yeah, you can listen here.
I had this written down before I knew Nora was going to be right next to you, Amy, but Nora has had a great match. What have you been most excited about when it comes to her growth this season?
Oh, so many things. I don't know. I feel like I've told this story a couple times during the season so far, but I drafted Nora for a reason, and I think, admittedly to her, I told her this has been a hard team to get drafted to because we did have a lot of outside depth on our roster, but I just appreciate she comes into the gym every single day with attitude I'm going to get better, and when my number is called I'm going to be ready to go. So tonight I think the thing that sticks out to me the most was her first contact. That was kind of the thing that at the beginning of the season it was like, hey, you're a little behind these guys, and it's no shame, they've just been playing for 5 years longer than you, and so she's really settled in. And then her ownership over her attacking. She can be a lethal attacker, and I just watched her kind of grow into tonight. At least, you know, we're going to keep working on it and building on it, but like, I can win the game for us, I can take over the match, and that was the mentality I saw tonight. So it was really awesome.
Kind of forced Amy to gush about her player, which was kind of a sweet moment.
Yeah. In terms of indie players, so Anna DeBeer did not get the start here. Gave
Didn't
it to
play at
Carly
all.
Scott. Didn't play at all. Give it to Carly Scott and Nina Chaich instead. Chaich had a really good game in terms of points scored, and she passed okay, and she was pretty like consistent in terms of if she was up and down, she didn't like stay down for very long. Like, she would make a change pretty quickly. That was something I felt like I noticed a little bit better in person, was that like her energy was up. She was calling for the ball, then very next one, and she would get a kill. Her hitting percentage was not that good at 130. And halfway through, Carly Scott got subbed out for Katie Baird, who, hitting efficiency-wise, also not a great day.
Yeah.
But I mean, in this instance, in this match, it's really statistically, and the vibe was Johnny Taylor getting it done, and CeCe Crawford doing okay on hitting percentages, but like also making some weird connection mistakes. So I feel
Yeah.
like that took the wind out of their sails with her sometimes.
It's crazy to see these two teams play, and you compare a rookie middle like Cece to Kaz.
Kaz Brown, yeah.
I mean, and MK, but like,
Yeah, yeah.
but you know, Kaz.
Specifically in that game, Kaz.
With the
Yeah.
slides.
Yeah, I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
just night and day.
Yep.
Again,
Yeah, I think she only
Casey
finished
did
with like
great.
2 blocks. So many block touches
Yeah,
on the game. And it's
Getting
interesting
it.
now, like looking back, obviously, because it was very up in the air after that game. 5 losses in a row, and Grand Rapids is really close. Now we know that Indy can't, ended up winning their game against the Mojo later in the week. So
And Grand Rapids helped him out.
yeah, and Grand Rapids lost their game. So Indy did what they wanted to do, what they were telling us they wanted to do in that press conference. They ended up doing later in the week. And Anna DeBeer had a big game and led them in kills that match as well. So
Yeah.
it's
I mean,
nice
you
to have
got four
options.
outsides. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Exactly. Like,
yeah,
you've got them. We don't know for sure. I mean, talk about injury discussions and knowing too much about people. Anna DeBeer had a very serious ankle injury like
yeah.
4 months ago. And I think that, the bird heads, what are they? Louisville
The
Cardinals?
Cardinals.
Yeah.
The bird heads.
I called them that one time.
The bird brains.
The bird brains. They are kind of like, show me Elena Scott, show me Anna DeBeer, or show me death.
Yeah,
And maybe she needed a little baby break. Like,
Yeah.
we just don't know. And they're not giving us these updates. And
Yeah.
you get Elena Scott now. So just
I do wonder how, like, again, this is, sports science question that I'm sure we could ask someone at Fisher's. They had a lot of sports science ads there that we could ask about, but that just like I wonder how hard of a cap they have, like on this is how many minutes how many points she should be playing in a
Yeah,
week.
like, you know, I was just reading a sports romance book.
Nice.
let us know what you saw.
What sport?
It was baseball. And so,
Of course.
the
sexiest sport.
and listen. I'm sure, and I did know this, but this is what made me think that, pitchers they count their pitches
Mhm.
and they'll be like,
Pitch
oh,
counts and limits.
and this is how many I pitched, and that's kind of my limit, and now I've got to be off for this much, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it is kind of crazy we don't have that
that.
same thing. I mean, we talk
Yeah.
about how many swings people are making, but there
Mhm.
not like a limit.
Well, and that's where like they do that now in basketball a lot when you're coming back from an injury, where they'll be like, the trainers will say like they can't play more than 22 minutes in a game, which
Yeah.
always seems weird because it's like, how do something
Yeah.
weird could happen in those 22 minutes and they could re-injure
Right.
it. But it's just more that like if everything goes according to plan in that
Yeah.
22 minutes, they really shouldn't be putting any more strain
Yeah.
on it. But yeah, like how do you narrow that down? How much data do you have to be combing through to find those numbers?
Yeah. And then also I think there is obviously a difference in the mechanics of what motion you're doing. And
sure.
like
Mhm.
pitching,
But
I
the
think is
jumping.
pitching is
Jumping
like,
with volleyball.
yeah, jumping, sure. But I'm just saying, like, if we're comparing an arm swing to
Mhm.
throwing a baseball, I feel like throwing a baseball doesn't seem like it's great for you.
No, like, yeah, they always
Like-
just say, like, there's only so much you can do for it because really your body's just not supposed to do that
Yeah.
many times over and
Mhm,
over. Like your
mhm.
elbow. But, like, that's where I feel like in volleyball, I guess it's slightly more natural of movement, but that's a lot of wear on your shoulder if
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you're an
Mhm.
outside hitter swinging 60 times a game or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Or if
that's
you're a
got to be
Johnny.
sore. Yeah.
Yep.
I think
Which that
it's
was-
jumping with blockers, especially like middle
Mhm.
blockers.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it swings on pin hitters. And I wouldn't be surprised if trainers are giving some, like, she can't take 60 swings
Mhm.
today. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised or if that's where we're going.
Yeah.
It makes
Yeah.
sense to me if that's like,
Getting more
Short-term.
like sciencey and
yeah,
with
totally.
with the sport.
Yeah,
Sport
more
science.
sciencey. Exactly. More sciencey.
I guess like speaking to Johnny Teeler though, like Nikki, you and I talked about this at the game, like seeing her in person, she is like she just seems so fit. Like
Mhm.
and I think that is why she's so successful is
Yeah.
that like she's able to get off the net quickly and be ready for the ball more often than your average player.
Yeah.
Um,
She finishes a move and gets ready for the next move
Yeah.
faster than anybody else out there.
Yeah.
And that really, I mean, that's just physical fitness. Like
Yes.
some of it,
amazing.
I guess, is you could argue is like volleyball IQ, but like you can know you need to do it and not be able to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I mean, this is one of those things where, like, with any pro sport, well, we see this in the high school to college, which is like, you got to get in the weight room, bro. And now in the college to pro, it's like
This is your full-time
the
job now.
rookies versus the 4-year pros.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
like it's not everybody, certainly not, but it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, you all need some upper body strength now. You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you need to be squatting even more
And you need to
in
be able
order to make those quick moves.
and to be able to take 60 swings and
Exactly.
then
Right.
come back 2 days later to do it again.
The other thing that I
Right.
think, like, being there, you see with Indy is like how much Lekator is still around and like involved with the team and warm-ups and on the bench and stuff. It just seems like a cool place to play.
Yeah. Those players seem pretty dang happy there. I don't know if I would go so far as to say other players don't seem happy on their teams. But other teams, there's whispers of drama sometimes.
Drama. And you know we love
and there's
that.
not even that much. There's not even that
Well, and
much.
it
But I'm
still
just
has,
saying that
like-
like Indy
Yeah.
seems like a good spot to be a little
Yeah.
Well, and it is still like, it is last year for them, right? Like this is the first year of novelty and it's going well. So,
Yeah,
if you can't have fun now, when can you have fun?
sure.
You're going to be in the
Well-
playoffs. Everybody's excited to watch you.
Yeah, I mean, after Friday, after the lost Friday, there was like a question I wanted to ask about the playoffs and how do you focus on getting there? And George went on a little spiel at the beginning, and I didn't ask that question.
You have a team that's put together out of nothing and an expansion team. And taking more stock for the players, at least, not me, but the players, of how well they've done and how they've competed and put themselves in position to make playoffs in a league that's better than it was last year, period. And having some of those positive thoughts going into games instead of trying to hold on to something that's never been. We've never even made a run in playoffs before. And I hear people chattering about it. It's playoffs. To me, it's just we're playing Sunday. Like, there's nothing. You can't go ahead one day. You can't go ahead 1 point. So I wish the players would take a little more stock of what they've accomplished already. Maybe that would help with some of those moments that are a little bit scattered and a little bit, broken, haphazard. It's like, that's just our learning. That's our curve. And we're on our curve still, and we're still in position to control our own destiny.
Which I think
I
is
said
like
no.
a very coach thing of like, we're not focused on the playoffs, focused on our next game, and also dwelling on the positives
It's
rather
such a-
than the negatives.
It's such a sports psychology thing of like, oh, we can only compare against ourselves. And last year we don't have anything to compare against. So,
Yeah. So we're
already
infinitely better.
winning.
Yeah.
Oh, lucky for us.
Uh-huh.
I just think like that's a little. It's the pros now, baby. You gotta
Yeah.
get to the
Well,
playoffs.
I just think that,
I
like,
agree.
that's
I thought it was
his-
kind of a bullshit answer, but
But
like,
I also
Yeah.
think that's just his coach speak, right? As like, I
Yeah.
think that he
Mhm.
knows that like what we got from Nina and Ashani Taylor in the like, I don't think he feels the need to like,
yeah.
he feels like they already are taking it seriously enough.
Right,
like
totally.
that they are self-policing themselves on that like energy level that he doesn't need to come in and be a fucking hard ass
Yeah.
Yeah.
on them.
And be like,
he
take
just
this
needs
seriously.
to be, he
Yeah.
needs to be the one that's like taking some of the pressure off of them,
Yeah. That's a good point because they
especially
were both
when they're
very
losing 5 in a row,
straight-faced.
right? Like,
Right. Yeah. They were very straight-faced.
Yeah.
The two players, right?
Yeah,
they
they
were
seemed
like disappointed.
Yeah.
yeah, Ajani Taylor does not seem like a person that you need to be like, hey, you got to take this more seriously. Like, what do you like? She
Nah,
seems
she's
like
locked
she's
in.
pretty on board.
Yeah, totally. And even with Nina, like the Indy comms coordinator was asking, congratulations on the Serbian national team. So she got picked to be on that roster for VNL this summer. That like happened earlier that day or the day before. And even just her, like, how does that feel? And she was just like, oh, obviously it's amazing. You know, like,
Mhm.
but she was still down from the loss, you know, like it was even that being that excited, obviously she was excited, but it was just evident that like she was still thinking about this match. You know what I mean? And I think that, yeah, I'm guessing that that team doesn't have, those players don't have a big issue wanting to be in the playoffs, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be fun playoff
Yeah.
situation.
And maybe this is like not the time for this conversation, but is the 1-2 solidified?
I don't
Or
think so because
could
it's only
Atlanta
one
still
game
get
right now.
first? Uh-huh.
Well, how many
Yeah.
games does Atlanta have left? 2?
Atlanta plays Indy on Thursday
Mhm.
and
And then
Omaha
Omaha.
on Sunday.
So it literally
Yeah.
might come down to that
To
last game
that
between them.
game.
Oh, how exciting.
And Omaha plays
'Cause
Grand Rapids
yeah.
on Friday.
So if Omaha loses that and Atlanta wins, they're literally tied going into that final game.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what the tiebreaker is if like Omaha and Atlanta win and then Atlanta beats them and they have the same record. I don't know what that first
Oh, I
tiebreaker
know.
is.
I do know what it is. It's the
Head to head?
points.
Points.
It's the points first. And that's based on
Classic.
win and well, isn't it classic in hockey?
Our sweet, yeah, but like our sweet points that we've never known whether or not they like what they
How
are.
important they
The
are?
standings
we do.
aren't like
Oh,
sorted by
sorted
points.
by it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, but it is, I think that points is the second
Okay.
indicator.
So Omaha
And it's if you get
probably would do that.
3 points for winning a match by the score of 3-0 or 3-1. 2 points for winning a match by the score of 3-2. 1 point for losing a match by the score of 2-3. 0 points for everything else, loss wise. And so let me just take a moment to once again complain about what do we like to complain about?
Just various
Would you
like
like
data management,
would you like a Dear PDF on this?
data
We haven't
viz.
done
No.
one of those in a while.
I know. It's like the structure of what the website looks like.
The UI.
Yeah. Just
Yeah, it's like fucking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 when all of those are supposed to be tabbed in, you know?
oh, yeah.
So it's like these are the tiebreaker and it's and it's like 2 through 5 are useless. Anyway, if there's a tiebreaker, match points totals is first. Head to head is next. Sets ratio is
Oh.
next.
Okay.
Okay. So at the moment, Omaha has 55 and Atlanta has 50.
Yeah.
So that feels like a tough thing
Yeah,
for
you
them to
feel
come
like
back
if
to
yeah,
on.
if they're tied, Omaha's probably
Yeah.
Yeah.
got. So really Omaha just has to win one of their last 2 matches.
It's crazy to
Mhm.
think that like this will be the last time Omaha is playing.
I know.
That we kind of forgot about it a little bit.
It's really sad.
If they're in the
It
final
is.
and Nikki's there personally, like you're gonna be going through it. You have to watch them
Be having a
lift the
really hard
trophy,
time.
and you're
I'm
like
gonna have
on
a
an
really hard
Instagram reel
time.
weeping.
I'll be weeping.
No!
Bro, what if I run into Danny White?
How dare you
knock him
stand where
over.
he stood?
Yeah. I think you're taller than him, right?
If I run into Danny White, I'll knock him over is the first thing. But what if I run into him like proverbially?
You see him at the blackjack
I heard
table?
what you said.
With Jason
Danny, you fucked
Derulo.
up the table.
And I'll have
You
to be
hit
like,
on
Jason,
17.
And
Jason, come here.
it's
Jason,
like
come
you guys are doing the $5 minimum bet too.
Yeah.
I
That's how they keep
love
their
the
that's how they
low
keep their
minimum
money.
tables. That's how they keep it. I have to go, Jason, come over here. What are
Jason.
you doing with this guy?
What are you doing?
Jason.
Jason, are you okay? Do you blink twice if you're
He
in
would look at you
danger?
and be like, "Who's Jason?" I'm
Jason?
Jason.
Yeah, it's really sad. I think that one of these days we need to do a segment about our predictions. People are like talking about predictions for next year, how things are going to go, what's going to happen with Omaha MLV in the future. I have a lot of thoughts. But I don't think now's the time. We're focused on the current season.
Indeed. We didn't make winner predictions earlier, which sucks because then I could be so right in all of my predictions.
Could you?
Playoff
now you're
predictions,
now
my
you're only
future
like
winners predictions.
kind of right.
I'm only mostly right. I'm only obviously the most knowledgeable volleyball person.
But the thing is, at this point, from these top 4, I still think it could be anybody.
Yeah, any of those 4 can win.
on the right day, it's only single elimination.
It's intense.
If we were talking best of 3 series, that would be a different story.
Then they would definitely have to do it over like one weekend, then the next weekend,
Totally.
instead of
Yeah.
just giving them one day to like, recover from all this.
Right. But okay, so that's where we're at with standings. I was just thinking about Indy and who they might play, right?
Yeah.
It's probably Omaha.
Yeah, probably.
That is something we'll be talking about more next week. On what
Yeah, we
think
can go on our we can go through their season
matchups will be.
head-to-heads,
Yeah.
Yeah.
previews.
Yeah. That's a little teaser for next week.
Was there
Wonderful.
anyone else this week that stood out to you?
Grand Rapids really did not want to not make the playoffs. Obviously,
Yeah.
against Atlanta, lost to them in 5. I feel like it was a little messy, but all of the scores were so close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were really good. I mean, the stats are very close as well. It was just, I mean, it was really Bastianelli had a
Oh,
monster
Player of the
game.
week.
I think that
Yeah.
was
Player of
like
the week,
the
Bastianelli.
best game we've seen out of a middle.
Oh my God, 37 attempts in 5 sets.
Amazing. They're
It was
like,
working.
I love
feed it to
it.
her. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? People were being so rude to Erica Pritchard on the internet.
Oh no.
Maybe it was the last point. She
Tipped it
her
out.
second she tipped it out. She tipped
Yeah.
it deep and out, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
These
I mean,
are
it's-
the
Also, they
athletes.
lost
like-
100 other points that night.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So many.
It's not like fucking
Please.
football where you only have so many attempts to score and then you miss your field
Well,
goal.
Even if you do,
It's a
like,
long
you
game.
know, the points are just as valuable when it's the early points as the late points.
Right.
It's just
They don't
your
make
idiot
none-
Again, we're back to
lizard
sports
brain.
psychology.
Yeah, your idiot
None of
lizard
the-
brain thinks that it's more valuable, but they're all worth 1 point.
Yeah.
But guess what? None of these are a super point.
Yeah, there's no
None
fucking
of these are a
super
super
points.
point.
Go
There's no
watch
super
go watch
points.
Love Buh.
They can't. It's over.
And I'm sure Erica will relive that point
Obviously.
for the rest of her life.
It's terrible. I hate it. But yeah,
But yeah.
other than that, I was really impressed with their fight.
Yep.
It's interesting to think about Grand Rapids and the fact that I feel like they were in some ways a better team this year than last year.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
And I mean, not having Dimitrova, that's tough.
Yeah. But I think they
But-
rose to the occasion like a phoenix rising from the ashes.
If you can believe it. But no, it wasn't enough. So that was pretty impressive. Columbus fighting against Omaha, same
Yeah. Same thing. That was
thing.
quite exciting.
With maybe not quite as close of points in the 5th set, but
Yeah, but with
very
Omaha
close sets
hitting
the whole time.
292.
Yeah.
I know.
Fury hasn't like consistently been hitting well at
Uh-huh.
all
I know.
this entire season. And they
And finally, they put something
finally
together.
and
Mhm.
then But I
And
hope
then
you know
the-
they're I think they're just trying to end on a good note.
Yeah. Which good for them.
Yeah.
Kelsey Payne hit really well. I mean, just as soon as you put something together against Omaha, they rise. They raise their own level.
Well, yeah, they so Rise rises.
Of course,
So
yeah,
the
that's my bad.
Omaha Supernovas
They
They
Nova
Nova.
up.
explode into a black
Yeah,
hole.
they annihilate the universe.
That's right.
Yeah.
Obviously, my bad. But yeah,
But that was I mentioned, yeah, that was the game where they had Toyosi and Awalaya
yeah.
both playing really well. Like they just have a ton of options.
And
Yeah.
neither of them have gotten in much this season.
No,
So this is
no, and
one
they
of
were
those
great.
instances.
Yeah, they've got leeway to just like spend these last few weeks playing some other people. So in case they need them in the playoffs, they
Yep.
won't be completely raw.
Yeah.
Totally. Janice Leao on Columbus. She's been putting some stuff together. 8 blocks in this match. I like that for her.
Yeah.
Just wanted to mention, speaking of other middles who haven't gotten a whole lot of playing time this
Yeah,
year.
they were on the losing side to 2 pretty crazy games. That was the 292 Supernova game, and then yeah, that was the game that the Valks hit 315 against them too. So
Yeah.
Woof.
Other
That to
matches-
me only
Oh, sorry.
reinforces what we were saying earlier in the year that
Mhm.
Columbus's block is maybe not that great.
Yeah.
Eh,
That's our
yeah.
number one, probably, like best take from the beginning of the year
Yeah,
as a pod
most
was
consistent.
that they don't have
It's
enough
like
players on the team to win.
we called the shot
Which,
because
Kingmaker, come talk to us.
I mean, if you ever want a reason to keep your draft picks,
Yeah. Oh man, Columbus.
Columbus.
That obviously, like, Tory Stringer's not the problem for Columbus, but you
No,
probably could have used those picks.
they could have used those picks. Any other matches that it's important to you to discuss?
I don't know. The Vegas week was weird. That was the reverse sweep and then the regular sweep.
They got
Uh,
regular swept by Omaha.
yeah.
Yep.
That was
After
tough.
I thought they
Tough to
were setting up the
watch.
reverse sweep again.
I know, right?
Didn't come
They
through.
did like it. You know who's been doing pretty dang good is Carly Graham. She gets kills. She gets digs. That's good for a setter to get. Berkeley Oblad, you mentioned in the scorner, had a bit of a day.
Yeah, almost 600 against the Mojo.
I've been concerned about Vegas for quite some time.
Yeah.
Morgan Stout not in the picture anymore. How did everybody? They should be called the Supernovas. They burn bright and then they burn out.
Wow.
They
Those
only been
players.
for like 1.3 million years and
That's
turned
right,
into
and
a
that goes
frigging
by in
black
a
hole.
blink of an eye. And then yeah, they are black hole now. I mean, sorry, I'll do. Love y'all, but it's not going well.
I mean, that's what's tough, I guess, about like an 8-team league is just once you get in the like into the doldrums, it's hard to climb
Right.
out once you're
Here you
in
are with another phrase.
the doldrums.
What the heck is this?
That's probably some Dickensian phrase.
All right, explain.
That sounds Dickensian.
All right,
The
how do I
doldrums
spell
are
it?
just I don't know.
Oh wait, do you know what the doldrums
DOL
are?
No.
DRUMS.
I do think that a literal doldrum is a spot in the ocean that has completely flat water, no waves.
So it's very
So if
hard to
you're
get
stuck
out
in the
of.
doldrums as a ship, you can't go
Yeah.
nowhere. Like no
So
wind,
this is like very
right?
So this
Herman
isn't
Melville.
Dickensian, this is like
Yeah,
Moby
this is
Dick.
Moby
Well,
Dick
Call me
stuff.
Ishmael. Yeah.
A state or period of
Dold.
inactivity, stagnation, or depression.
Yeah.
Wow. What a good
An,
word.
eq- an equatorial region of the Atlantic Ocean with calm, then sudden storms and light, unpredictable winds.
It's unpredictability, stagnation.
Great band
This
name.
is
And
the $10 word of the day.
Great band name, right?
That would be a good band name. But like what kind of music would they play?
Well, apparently there's a band called Doldrums that is American post rock.
Post rock. That's
I know that it has drums in it, and so you would think that they'd be a heavy drums band, but
yeah.
by the
Drone
definition
metal.
of the water not moving, it should actually be like really, really calming.
Yeah, shoegaze.
It should be just like meditation music.
There's also
Chill
a couple
beats to relax and
albums.
study to.
Well, thanks for that, Ian.
Yeah, that's
Shit
our
you
new
can
word for
study to.
today. I'll come up with another word for something that means bad. The next
So yeah, back
podcast.
to Vegas.
Yeah.
The thing is, in the end, they're still not even the bottom two. So
Yeah, it's crazy because it does feel like
it feels
they're at the
bad.
bottom.
Well, they were one at one point, so
Yeah.
I know, which I
just
do
the high
like to remind everybody
expectations.
about. Their last match, I do believe. Nope, second to last match is against Orlando. Oh boy, Adora drama. First time she's gonna play her old team.
oh my goodness.
And then they
Maybe I should
close
ask for
the season
comment.
out against Columbus. So
That's right. Okay, do I say what games are in the final week of the season?
Yep.
sure.
All right, here I go. Wednesday, April 30th. This game will have already happened by the time you listen to this podcast. Is Orlando at Grand Rapids? Tell us in the future what happens. Thursday, May 1st, Atlanta at Indy, and also Columbus at San Diego. Friday, May 2nd, Omaha at Grand Rapids. A little bit later, Orlando at Vegas. Saturday, May 3rd, Indy at San Diego. Sunday, May 4th, Omaha at Atlanta. That'll be a big one.
Well, that's a big one.
Biggin.
And a little bit later, the final match of the 2025 season for the first time in 2025 season
Whoa.
history.
Crazy.
Columbus at Vegas. And that's it. May 4th
That's
is
all she wrote.
the
What a
end
run.
of the season. And then four
Star
teams
Wars Day.
will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days until the playoffs begin. And that's what we've
Awesome.
got for you.
Mm.
Pumped.
Gonna be fun.
We're almost there.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for listening to Court Captains Volleyball Podcast. Please give us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts if you like what you're hearing. Support small podcasts. And if you don't like what you're hearing, then please just go ahead and mind your business. Follow us on Instagram at Court Captains Pod and email us your questions or comments at courtcaptainspod@gmail.com.
Don't forget to be the captain of your own court.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Right
I'll
on.
try. I'll try not to.
Okay.
Good
Bye.
Have a good week. Bye.